the National Real Estate Auction Radio Show. I'm your host, Doug Dennison, and we have a caller. Good morning, you're on the air.
Hi, Doug. It's Arlene and Scott.
Hey, well, guys, thank you so much for calling in. I want to preface this. Again, this is the National Real Estate Auction Radio Show, and you two are from the YMCA, and so what the heck are you on this show for? Let me tell you why. Tommy Rowell, who is our CEO of Rowell Auctions, is also a YMCA board member up in Moultrie, Georgia. And our mission in our business is to help the community. And just 2 weeks ago, he gave me the time to go over to the YMCA to do a radio show, WFOY 1240 AM Studios, allowed us the equipment and the time to be there for a special event. And so now tell us what that special event was, and again, introduce yourself. Arlene, you're my wife. You're the executive director of the St. Augustine YMCA, and I'm a little biased on the wonderful things you do. But Scott, why don't you introduce yourself, if you would?
I'm Scott Sikarsky, and I am the Associate Executive Director here at the St. Augustine YMCA. I've been with the Y here at Florida's First Coast for about 8 years, and I've been down here in St. Augustine for about a year and a half.
Very, very good. Well, somebody tell me about that tournament, and again, listeners don't know what kind of a tournament it was, or who it was for, or who it was for in regards to fundraising.
Well, every year for the last 13 years, we have held a basketball tournament here at the Y. And it's not just about the teamwork for the kids and a good way to close out the season and the competition, but about 13 years ago, one of our volunteer coaches, Duffy, who was a CPA here in town and a volunteer for the Y, was in a car accident and lost his life. So his father-in-law is Ken Kresge, and Ken has organized this tournament for the Y for the last 13 years in honor of Dieter and all of our volunteer coaches who give their time and effort to come out and work with kids on, again, not just on basketball skills, but on leadership skills, on teamwork, on fitness, on everything that you want your young kids to emulate. So we had a great tournament again this year, thanks to Ken and our sponsors of Kresge Platt and Hebert, W.W. Gay, the Bailey Group, the McLeod Firm, Reunion Bank, Piccolata Produce Farms, All-American Air Conditioning Charitable Foundation, Pepsi Cola, Arthur Vita, Clark and Robert, Panama Hatties, and David Reich, and so many more people that helped us along the way.
Wow, what community support. That's excellent. So you're raising money for the YMCA and youth. Good stuff. And again, I was there, I guess 13 days ago, and we did a live radio show remote from there, and I mean, the guests were amazing. Community leaders, VIPs, people very interested in the Y. Can you tell me some of the guests that we had on live 2 weeks ago?
Well, definitely. Certainly Ken Kresge from Kresge Platt and Hebert led the way and kicked it off for us and talked about the Y and the great job he does as a former board chair for the YMCA in the community. Mm-hmm. Our current board chair, Steve Fuente, was on with us, and our another past chair and board member, Mark Bailey, who has also coincidentally coached one of the teams.
Really? Okay.
Did a great job out there. We had Dr. James Grimes from Orthopedic Associates was on. He's another one of our volunteer coaches. He's here almost every day working out himself with his children in Kids Zone, his wife working out, and our Kids Zone area is just a great place with a great new tumbling area. So the Grimes family is here quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Several of your basketball buddies, the 50 and Over League, help volunteer to help with the radio show. Bill LaGrange, good example. Bill works out, and Bill and his wife Pam are here, but also Heidi, their daughter, is one of our Zumba instructors, and I would guarantee that most people in St. Augustine know Heidi and Zumba. And her daughter Emma was on the radio show. So even though you talked about you and I being husband and wife, the LaGrange is another good example of how the generations in the Y are, it's a family place to be. Just so happens your dad, who lives in St. Augustine, was on the show as well, who's a former YMCA executive director. And, lots of great people took part. Erin Burnett and her family is here now, and they're just having a great time. Children and families of all ages. It's a wonderful place to go for healthy living with our children and youth development, and great place for whole families.
Well, we had about 10 people being interviewed during that quick 1 hour. And again, Bill LeGrand and Tommy Lynch helped us as volunteers, coordinating all that. And again, they are my basketball buddies that were kind enough to come and really coordinate that whole thing. And as you said, my dad was on the show, and he was the CEO of the Manchester, New Hampshire YMCA before he retired several years ago. And it was great to have him talk about the history of the YMCA. But tell me a little bit more about the St. Augustine YMCA, where it is, how many members, who do you serve, all that kind of good stuff.
Well, we're a stone's throw from the St. Augustine Pier off of Pope Road,
okay,
and have a brand new, absolutely beautiful sign on Pope Road to better identify where we are. We're pleased that the state has, carved out some space for us on Anastasia Island. It's just a beautiful location in the trees. We've just had a major makeover with new state-of-the-art cardio and elliptical equipment, and so it's a great place. If you haven't been here in the last 3 to 6 months even, people should come by, stop in, come through the front door, and just feel what's happening here at the Y. It's not just about the daily workouts, though. We do a lot of other things in the community to help strengthen our community and family health issues for children and adults and seniors. Not just staying healthy day to day, but also preventative. We run a diabetes prevention program, and also co-sponsor with the American Cancer Society on Saturday, tomorrow, March 16th, between 9 and 1 o'clock. We're taking part in a national study that it's called the Cancer Prevention Study 3. And the first 2 studies that were done in the early 50s were the ones that helped tie tobacco smoking to cancer. So we're hoping to have close to 100 people enrolled to become part of a national study. And with this study, we're hoping to find some environmental and lifestyle issues that will prove healthy eating and healthy working out can prevent cancer as well. So if anybody's interested in taking part of that national study, they can log on to the cancer.org and sign up for a specific time tomorrow, or drop in tomorrow between 9 and 1 and take part in this important study.
What is the website for the YMCA, if you would?
First Coast YMCA.org. So it's FIRST coastymca.org.
Very good. And what's your telephone number in case somebody's listening and saying, I really should get over there? Because don't you offer a chance for people who don't know much about the YMCA a tour or possibly even working out free one time?
Yeah, actually, Doug, it's the phone number is 471 YMCA.
Okay.
71 YMCA. And anybody can stop in at any time, and they can come in. They can try out some of the classes. We'll give them a tour of the facility. show them all the things that they can do, and they definitely can come in, and we'll give them some passes to try out classes, try to work out, play some basketball, go to the pool, things like that.
Nice. How many members do you guys have? Because you have a lot of them. Really, the driveway is packed with people, and that's always a great thing. It's nice to see, and also all the driveway is basically paved now because of a donation from a supporter. So you guys are doing great. But how many members are there total?
Yeah, we have just over 3,000 members.
Okay.
And like you said, that makes for great energy. There's a lot of people, a lot of things going on each day. You'll come into our parking lot and see all the cars out there, and people are showing up for group exercise classes. They're doing Zumba. They're having a great time. And what we really want to do is we want you to have a better day after being at the Y than you were before. And we want you to have fun. And actually, our staff at the front desk, they don't say have a good workout. They say have fun when you check in. So we want you to have a great time, and there's a lot of things you can do here.
Well, Scott, when you interviewed at the remote at the Y a couple of weeks ago, you had a interesting comment about the difference maybe between a fitness center and the YMCA is that people know you. It's just not physical, it's social, and you said something about that TV show or whatever. What were you saying?
That's right. We're kind of like Cheers, the old TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and it's a place to go, whether it's before work, after work. It's when you come in, it's not just to work out. You're coming in and you know staff, you know other members, you're maybe meeting friends here, and you're doing things together, not just yourself. So we try to create that atmosphere like Cheers so that we know everyone that comes in.
Well, I get there every once in a while, and I do feel that, and it's nice to be able to say hi to somebody and them reply, hey, it's good to see you, and it's tough today, but I'm glad you're here, all that kind of stuff. It's a nice, friendly place to go to, and, I admire the work that you both do. You talked a little bit about the land being, I'm not sure if it's donated or leased by the state. These kind of county and state and partnerships with organizations are very helpful. In fact, tell me about the county pool and what you do there.
We are really honored that when the Solomon Calhoun Center was built about 5 years ago, the St. Johns County Parks and Recreation Department invited us to partner with them in the operations of the pool. And it's not only an incredible year-round outdoor swimming pool that we all can enjoy living here in St. Augustine and St. Johns County, but it's just, again, with our staff that are there, we have a very highly trained aquatic staff that our goal is that every child has the opportunity to be safe and have fun in the water. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of swimming lessons out there during the year, during the summer as well. Swimming lessons are getting, it's almost time to start thinking that way and signing up for lessons at the county pool, at our local branch pool. That should all be up on our website very soon along with summer camp. But we're very honored to be partnering with the county in operations for aquatics. Every child in Florida should know how to swim, and during some of our camp lessons, our instructors are in the water helping children be safe and know how to have fun so that we can prevent drownings, which happens to be the number one cause of death for children. And as far as our partnership with the state, when the Y first began in St. Augustine, it was downtown of Valencia, where the Flagler College tennis courts are now. And in 1985, 1986, the board of directors at that time, who happened to be Mark Bailey's dad, John, and I think Brian Wilson's dad, Jack, and several of the board members back then participated and helped raise some money for a swimming pool and facility. So since about 1986, we're very honored to be here on Anastasia State Park, tucked away in the trees. There's some days, what we call it, the treasure in the sand. When you walk through the parking lot, you can actually hear the ocean, and just such an incredible place to be.
Well, you're only a quarter mile away from the ocean, and you're right, you can hear the ocean. You know, you talk about partnerships with the state and the county. Well, also the community is your partner, and you talked about Steve Bente, current chairman of the Y, and Mark Bailey, former chairman, and Ken Kresge, a former chairman of the YMCA, along with Dr. Dr. Grimes, who is a great supporter with funds and helps out and is there every day. Do you have other board members that are involved? Because I know it's a team effort.
Yeah, we certainly do. Brenda Bushell is on our board, who has worked throughout the country in sports. An attorney, Rob Fields, and his family are here for flag football, for basketball, for working out. Dr. Bill Foodie from Borland Groover, gastroenterologist, is here, as well as, his wife here all the time. McKay Gatanos grew up in the Y, St. Augustine Y, as did Mark. His kids are here. His oldest son works for us now. As he's grown up, he's now an employee. McKay went through our youth and government program when he was in high school, and we've launched it again this year. So this is the second year where we have middle school and high school youth and government program. Sheila Sager, whose son goes to school locally, is on our board. Dr. Joe Saviak is a professor at Flagler College, great addition to our board, as is Fia Stark, great runner. She'll be proud to hear that. She's finished the Donner and some other races. Jeannie Tolliver, who actually was our board person and volunteer who kicked off youth and government, not just for our branch, but for the association when her and I visited Tallahassee 3 years ago. And Brian Wilson from Jack Wilson Chevrolet, who I mentioned earlier, his father, Jack, was also on our board years ago. So you can see how, again, through the generations, the Y just has had an impact on children, and through volunteering and the values that they've learned here, they go on as adults and continue to contribute to making our community stronger.
Well, you talk about contributing. You have membership fees and you have program fees, but that's not enough. How do people make donations, and do you get donations over the year?
We do. We run an annual campaign like most nonprofits, and that's where we're a little different than a gym. There's no one like us. Yes, we have a gym and great pools, but we do so much more. We have, if you walked in today and tried, wanted to join the Y, we have definitely a membership dues that people pay, and a lot of people at the same time when they sign up help contribute to our annual campaign. What that money does is provide financial assistance for those who need a little help on affording it. And we raise money in the community, so we have an income-based membership program. You can go on our website at the firstcoastymca.org and go to the St. Augustine branch, and you can look at match your family's income to our membership rate. So we're trying to do everything we can so that people feel they can be part of an organization that's looking out for their families and their health and their well-being. And the income-based membership program is one way to do that.
Well, that's excellent. And St. Augustine, there's a lot of retirees, and a lot of them are kind of thinking about their legacy, the fact that they might have grown up and learned how to swim at the Buffalo YMCA or went to summer camp in the Chicago area. There's a thing called, is it the Heritage Club? What can they do to help make sure from years to come the YMCA will benefit?
Well, there is, Doug. It's amazing. That's something that I think we all as staff do every day is try to help people. There's a statistic that 84% of Americans are Y alumni. So if you ask most people, they learned how to swim at the Y. For me, it was in Brockton, Massachusetts when I was 8 years old, and I can still remember the smell of the chlorine in that pool at the Brockton Y. And I'm not that young anymore. But it's called our Chairman's Roundtable here, and certainly contributions of $10, $50, $100, every little bit adds up. But at our Chairman's Roundtable level, that starts at gifts of $1,500 and higher, and that's what enables us to be strong. One of our, actually it was Mark Bailey, recently said he's not ever seen, and we all know how involved Mark is in the community,
sure,
but he's never seen an organization do so much with so little. So we really value the contributions from our community and do our best as a staff and volunteer team to make the most out of every dollar that's contributed.
Well, congratulations to you both. And again, that Dieter Duffy basketball tournament was wonderful. WFOY 1240 AM studio was proud to be a part of it. And Tommy Rowell, through this program and through the help of one of his staff, will be trying to work on this to get it out to your VIPs. Give us one more time the website and the telephone number for your agency.
All right, the website is firstcoastymca.org. That's firstcoastymca.org, and the telephone number here is 471-YMCA.
Very good. Hey, thanks to both of you, and appreciate you being on a Friday.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Bye-bye. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Doug.
Allison, hey, thank you so much. I was just talking to you, talking about you. The YMCA was on the line. I know that our agency, our organization, Rowell Auctions, is very involved in the community, and so they were talking about everything that the YMCA does, and I know that you're going to work with me to try to put a PowerPoint together from this show, so I want to thank you for that. You are the executive producer of this radio show and do a fine job, but more importantly, what's happening with Rowell Auctions? Do they have any auctions coming up?
Yes, next week, at the beginning of the week, is going to be very busy. We have 3 of them back-to-back, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. They're going to be online and ballroom, which means you can do either or, be there in person or bid online. There are bank-owned properties.
Wow.
Some we're selling absolute, but most of them are not.
Okay.
Also, on March 22nd, which is Friday, we have the Walaka Maritime Museum, which is the real estate and personal property, which is interesting stuff. Boats, steam engines, vases made out of wood. Very, very interesting stuff from the museum.
Okay. Very good. These properties that you just mentioned coming up next week, where are they located, if you could?
Most of them are going to be in North Georgia and South Georgia. We do have a few that will be in South Carolina and Florida.
Very, very good. In Florida, too. Okay, so Florida, Georgia.
South Carolina, Georgia, North and South Georgia.
Nice. Very good. Now, are these going to be online auctions?
They are, and also they will be at the Hilton Garden Inn in Tifton and the Hilton Garden Inn in McDonough. Okay, very good. If you're a novice, how do you do this online bidding? Can they get help from you? How would they know how to do this? They can go to the website at RowellAuctions.com. Okay. Upper right-hand corner, we have a Rowell Quick Link, which makes it really easy to register. Or you can go ahead and call me at 800-323-8388, and I can help walk you through the website and register. Nice. You know, people, general public sometimes that have not been involved in a real estate auction,
sometimes think that if you go to the auction, you've got to bring all your money. You have to pay it immediately. There's no closing period. And that's not true. Usually, what is it? There's a deposit, and then 30 days later, approximately, is when the closing is?
We like to ask for like a good faith earnest money deposit within 2 business days and then close within 30.
Okay. Very, very good. So it's almost like regular real estate. So people should not be afraid of it to get online. And online auctions have been really doing more and more because people like to sit in their living room or their office and bid online rather than traveling a couple hundred miles to a hotel, right?
Correct.
Very good. Hey, give us your website, please, and allow people to go to the site to look at pictures and terms and conditions, all that kind of stuff. And
it's RowellAuctions.com, RowellAuctions.com.
Very good. Hey, Allison, thank you. And again, I appreciate all your help as the executive producer of this radio show.
You're welcome, Doug.
You have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Hey, that was a fun show. Talked about the 14,000 government surplus properties. Talked about Rowell Auctions, how involved they are in the community. Actually got the YMCA to call in, talking about what they do. I thank everybody for listening. We'll see you next week.